Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this episode of the Crash Course. Excited to have everybody along for the ride. This is not going well.
There you go.
Episode 282 on deck. We've got a jam-packed show here. The week of Seneca County Fair is upon us. I don't know if you noticed that, but if you were wondering if it was or wasn't Fair Week, the giant thunderstorm that came through gave us a safe warning that it was coming soon.
Absolutely.
So that's sitting out there. We've got some coverage from Yates County Fair. Ed Brewster is up from Virginia. James Brown, he's getting ready to run this Thursday at the RC Derby. He's looking for a batter if anybody's got a 7800. Dunkirk is running tonight. We're going to talk to Brett Reid about the Mid Summer Mayhem show, and then we're going to be talking with Zach Anderson, who ran at Dallas County in Adel, Iowa, and then Jacob Pruismann after all that. So like I said, it is a busy one tonight. You said that you made the trip out to...
We did. It's funny. Zach's girlfriend was out of town, so he was, willing to hang out with his father. So I said, Bud, do you want to go over and watch Yates County Fair? I said, I think Justin and Jamie Eldridge are going to be running. He said, yeah, we can go over. So we went over, and the on-track action was very fast-paced, very hard-hitting.
Always is.
Always is. There was definitely a premium on driver's doors hits this year. They tossed a couple guys. Probably could have been 3 or 4 more tossed. I love hitting, but, man, we got to do something about driver's doors. You can't just hold it on the floor and half-track somebody and drive them straight in the door. That's just...
There's no good vantage point for officials at Yates County. Everybody's low. You're looking across the tops of the car. So I can. That's been something that's come up in conversation in different.
Yeah, but you're kind of looking down at the cars.
Yeah.
So
no.
Here's the thing is, you can tell when a car.
If everybody's hitting driver's doors, I guess everybody's. It's okay.
Well, it was. I don't know. I was concerned for safety. They were. That track stayed pretty dry most of the night. Very fast-paced, very hard-hitting. Lee
Seeger got a win down there.
Yep, Lee won the compacts. Danny Snyder won the full-size.
That's cool.
It was, like I said, it was on track was fairly decent. They were getting after it. There was definitely things I saw there that made me kind of nervous, but I'm just a dumb fan in the stands, so I.
At that point, right?
Kept my mouth shut.
At that point.
Kept my mouth shut, didn't say anything. A lot easier that way. Justin Eldridge made it to the feature. He went out in the he went out in the heat and got somebody, drove underneath somebody and was carrying him around. So when they got him off or got the car off, his car was stuck wide open, so he went out in the consi and made it through the consi. Then they had to connect hoses to try to get some water in it for the feature, and great crew. There was all of a sudden there was guys from everywhere. Jamie Sr. leading the charge, got him back out. He drove down probably top 6 or top 7. It was like I said, it was a decent show. I hope there's more cars at the upcoming Central New York Derbies. Car count. There was I think 3 heats of compacts. But it was just a one and done for the full size cars. So I'm hoping that might have been an epiphany, and hopefully we got more cars at the upcoming shows. But
anomaly thing. It's Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's Tuesday. I wouldn't be worried about it.
No, that wasn't Tuesday. That was Saturday.
I'm sorry. It was. Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Man,
I went Saturday.
You did.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that's good.
Forgot where I was going and drove to Dundee, and then backtracked to.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. Well, you know how you go down? You go down along the lake.
My directions suck. You had to drive in a straight line.
Yeah, you tried to get poor Ed here from Virginia.
I had to get Ed here from the microtel.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Microtel. Follow 5 and 20 until you get to the library.
Yeah, well, we.
What direction?
So there's two, the road to turn off to go to Penn Yan, and there's a road that takes you up right into the backside of Dundee, basically. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, I think it's a little farther. And I went, yeah, we're too far. So we turned around, my kid woke up, and he's like, why are we going backwards? Dad went a little too far, bud. We'll be there, but it was fun. It was good to get out and hang out, and saw a bunch of the guys that go to Waterloo, and talked to Lee and Doyle quite a bit, and he really is a great young man. Him and his dad are both going to be running both nights at Waterloo. Trying to get them to go to King's Old School. They're two local guys I think could go down there and compete, be right there at the end. So I was bugging on them pretty hard about that. I'd like to see them go down. I've talked to some of the other guys about going down. I'm trying to get Wayne and Tim to go down, but I know Tim said he's only running Waterloo, and
he's got 7 cars at his house right now.
Yeah, and Wayne was retired until last week, and
yeah, right.
Then there was a bare frame sitting in his driveway, and
why not?
We'll see if he makes it there. But yeah, it was typical Derby weekend in Central New York.
Sure is. So Ed made it up from Virginia. How are you?
I'm trying to, Chris. Long ride.
Yeah, it is a long ride. Got to visit the staple stop already. Got to Sauter's Market.
Yeah, that was one of the first stops. And had to get the meat sticks and
Did you,
all that other stuff I like from there. So.
Were you able to book a canal tour?
Not yet. Going to take care of that tomorrow. Yeah.
Ed brought his mom up.
Get Mom out there and do a little scenery looking around, stuff like that.
Cool.
So hopefully I'll drag her to the Derby tomorrow night.
Right. That'd be cool.
That would be something. That would be an experience.
I think she'd like it. How does she feel about figure 8 racing?
She says she likes it all, but yeah.
Well, Brett Reid is joining us on the line. Brett, how are you? You there, Brett?
I'm good. How you doing, Chris?
We're doing okay. I'm glad to have you on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Glad to have you on. So you guys oversaw the return of Demolition Derby to Downsville, as it were, with the Mid Summer Mayhem show, and with all the reports online, it sounds like it went off without a hitch.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't even the return. It was actually the first one ever. Kind of just by the seat of our pants, the fire department. They came up with the idea and approached Lyman and I, and I think we started planning in February and broke ground on the track in mid-April with all the rain this spring. We ended up with 40 cars, which we were a little bit disappointed with last minute, but we had a bunch of guys have some stuff go wrong, and they were bringing pre-run cars and couldn't get them there, but at the end of the day, we extraordinarily happy with how the event went. Guys were making absolute junk.
Right.
Can't say it enough that the pace of like a Walton was brought to Downsville, and they were absolutely sending it. I mean, Jeremy Gully. To say that I was scared. I was physically sick to my stomach with some of the guys taking that track and how much bite they were getting, and how big the track was and how few cars we had on it. But the day went off, without any injuries, serious injuries, and everyone seemed to enjoy themselves. We paid out, I think, $4,400 on 40 cars. We had some really awesome homemade trophies. So, the day, it really couldn't have gone better, looking back.
That's awesome. I'm glad of that, and I understand there was some confusion on it in our conversations. And again, I apologize for that. You guys running this thing, some other folks ended up aligning themselves with the show, so no hard feelings to anybody. And I'm glad you reached out to make sure that we were more clear on that. In terms of the future of the show and what's going to happen next, it sounds like there's no reason to not have another one, right?
No. We'll be back next year for sure. The fire department is 100% on board, and actually the most impressive thing about them is they are completely aligned now, especially now after Saturday. They're completely aligned with keeping the drivers happy and knowing that the drivers are the ones that brought the people there that were eating the food and drinking the beer. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw Decker's live video, but you know, Joe Armstrong, one of our officials, pointed it out. Dollar beers, you know. I mean, that was one of the big raves we got after the show. But no, it was. We'll be back next year, and we took a few days off, and we were actually right back at it trying to upgrade our facility. We really want to get big cars and trucks in there, maybe a couple one and dones, and then we have a really unique heat we want to run on a Friday night. Actually, to add to the show, where we're going to send invitations out to the fire departments within the county. It'll be a no entry fee, no payout. It'll be a trophy they'll take home every year. And it'll be kind of like a battle of the fire departments. Bone stock compact rules, just derby at its core, you know, bragging rights in a trophy only, that we're going to offer next year. And we are for sure lined up to do that. And then along with our compact show that we ran this year, those two are for sure will be back. And we are, we're killing ourselves to make the big cars come in. We're back at it, really trying to grow on our facility.
Whitney Point used to do that. They used to have a fireman's heat on Sunday nights, and that was always one of the hardest hitting, fastest paced shows down there.
Because they didn't know it was going to hurt.
Yeah, or they just didn't care. One of the two. But they used to firemen used to put on a hell of a show at Whitney Point.
I think there was a couple fire department heats in Cuba, or metal destruction time frame.
Man, I don't remember those.
They had one or two.
I don't remember.
Maybe.
They were. It was full size down there to well, everything was full size back then. It was the olden days, but
I think one of the San Filippo shows had some EMS crews and stuff as well.
I don't remember. Well, I've only been to one. It's my work schedule sucks, but
he talked about how hard they worked to get this place turned around to where they could do it. I mean, you got to check this out, right? So this is February, right? Now, get ready for this. That's what it turned into.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Is that crazy?
It showed you guys driving around out on the track. What's the track made up out of? What'd you guys use to make the track? What kind of surface?
Well, actually, while I'm on, I'd love to shout out Harry Treby at Sonny and Son Stone Co. They're a local stone company. To say that this guy went above and beyond, I mean, we can't say enough. But that's actually the root of the answer to your question. That is actually, it's not stone dust that you see at like a Walton or some of the other tracks locally. It's saw muck. And the best way I can describe it is, to quote Josh Decker, it's like glass, but it's fast. A lot like, maybe, I know Brian can probably relate to this, and you too, Chris, it's a lot like a racetrack clay.
Okay. Gotcha.
But we dump on it for water. We emptied the tanker. We emptied 5,000 gallons on it at the beginning of the day, which we probably should have got out in the morning. But we emptied water on it, and you can ask the guys that were there. It was literally drying within seconds.
Wow, cool.
But it ended up working out kind of in our favor, and we have tons of compliments for you know how awesome the track surface was, and the drivers seemed to love it, and it really held up to the day pretty good.
I saw the one video you guys had posted of
you're really not going to dig.
Yeah, I saw the one video of you guys out there tearing around in the car. I don't know, Thursday or Friday night or during the week sometime, and it was a very intriguing looking surface. Like, it was definitely nothing that I'd seen before. I couldn't really tell, so that's neat. That'll be something fun to continue watching and see how that goes. But
yeah, we're actually, Lyman and I, we are chomping at the bit. We want to get a big car on it, worse than awful, to see how they're going to hook up and, you know, change those a couple different tire options and see if one of those will eat it up, or, you know, what we're going to have to do, because ag tires didn't hurt it. Jeremy Gully went out on Friday night, came up and teched it, and it was bone dry. He said, "Can I go out?" And, you know, his car was loading up a little bit, so we let him take it out there, and he came back. I said, "Did you rut up my track?" And he said, "Yeah, I might have dug a few ruts in it." And we went out there, and I mean, he literally didn't even go a 16th of an inch down into the surface. He blew dust off the top of it.
Wow.
That's cool.
And marked that card.
Yeah,
They
right.
put water on it, right? Yeah. Everyone was really, they were all really cool with the track, and they all asked, one of the first questions they all asked was, "You're going to put water on that, right?"
That's awesome.
Have you got the list of, you want to recap who won?
Yeah, we have that right here. First place, actually, and, we're waiting on our portion of the check for taping up his starter wire during tech. But first place was Randy McGravy, and that paid out $1,300.
Wow. Nice.
In second place, we had John McGravy.
Cool.
So father-son first and second.
Right.
And that paid out $500. And then in third, we had another road rage guy, Jason Sherman. And that, what we paid for third line? $250, I believe, was third. Kylie Gully came in fourth. Jeremy Gully was in fifth. And we paid an $1,100 Mad Dog. And that was honestly one of the hardest things to do all day long. Seriously, I mean, we felt terrible having to only give that to one person, but we gave out an $1,100 Mad Dog, and that was Stephen Depew. And it was really down between him and, Jeremy Gully was in that conversation. Nate Dean was absolutely sending it. So between those three guys, I went to my five of our officials, and between Lyman and I, we all said those same three names. And we ended up just going down and taking a vote on it, and we came out with what we came out with. But, yep, those were our winners. And like I said, Randy, you can hit me up on Facebook. We can maybe figure out a PayPal situation or something. You owe us at least, I think, for the roll of electrical tape.
Absolutely. That's an expensive roll of electrical tape right there.
Beyond, the desire to get the big cars out there.
Yeah, it sure was.
Beyond the desire to get the big cars out there, what are you already looking at in terms of the changes? If everybody's in love with the track, you don't want to mess too much with that.
Well, we definitely need to get, we have loaner blocks. Delaware County, the Department of Public Works, loaned us Jersey barriers. And actually, we scrambled last minute to get them back with something. And we definitely couldn't have held big cars out there. They would have been all over the walls, and it would have been a serious safety issue.
Right.
So right now we're hunting down. We want to get big enough blocks to accommodate trucks, because if we can accommodate those, then we know we can have anything there. And we're actually in the process, along with the fire department right now, of getting a grandstand option, a permanent grandstand option put in there. And we are looking for something that we could seat up to 2,000 people in.
Great.
Very cool.
And that will be, they could use it for other things down there, the snowmobile races and stuff like that. So
Very cool.
those are the two main upgrades to our facility. And if we were to, just between Lyman and I talking a V8 show, we wouldn't really want to stick our neck out there the first year with it as far as running a full show, but maybe a one and done. And pay it out well, which the fire department has been awesome with. Like I said, they're really all about taking care of our drivers. And all of our officials, I have to shout out those guys, Pete Green, Joe Armstrong, Steve Ryder. The way those guys respected and treated all the drivers that rolled through and were getting cars on the track, and how they handled themselves throughout the day, it was awesome. And I one more thing, all the other promoters that we've supported, Jason Sherman in Road Rage, Jeremy Gully in Spinning Wheels, Decker, all those guys came out, and that support to us, that was a huge deal to us to see those guys coming and supporting our show.
Sure.
So, we can't thank them enough for that.
Just thinking about the wall, just to give you guys another idea possibly. Have you ever considered or thought about doing like what New Alexandria does in Pennsylvania, where they took a bunch of loader tires and buried them like halfway and filled the bottom halves with cement and then covered it? Because I saw that, and I still think that's one of the neatest walls I've ever seen, because it it keeps everything in and it doesn't do as much damage to the cars. And I don't think it'd be too terrible hard to find those big tires like that. But I mean, that would just be another option that might actually save you guys a little bit of money.
Right.
I mean, if you got an excavator or a backhoe, it wouldn't be hard to send them, but.
Yeah, something to consider.
Right now, we have an option that would stay on course with kind of the stone industry. I think we're going to try to explore that.
Gotcha.
And see how we end up with that. But the big thing, one of my negative takeaways, maybe us critiquing ourselves, was the dirt berms on the end of the track. We kind of had those messed up a little bit to start the show. Guys were getting shoved up on there. And I've taken away from road rage with the limos. The cars on the end of the track I thought was an awesome idea because it's something a little bit softer. And so that's something we've jotted down for next year as a possibility for the ends. So it's not just the dirt berm that you're going to get shoved up on. Because we want to see guys make junk. We don't want to see a guy get pushed up on a dirt berm. We want to see that fast-paced, absolute junk being made. And they can't do that if they're pushed up on top of the dirt berm teeter-tottering. So we're definitely going to come up with a plan, and we would like to get everything rolling and in motion this summer and into the fall, so that way next spring we're not rushing around and we're kind of set up to deal with all the other logistics of the show at that point and not have to worry about working on the venue.
Sure. I'm glad to hear that everything went so well. I know you mentioned the fire department, and you mentioned the track prep crew and some of the other drivers that came out to support. Anybody else that you want to make mention of? I guess our family, the entire community, really. Definitely our families for putting up with us and dealing with the stress level. And I don't know how guys like how Gully, looking at his schedule for the next month, I don't know how he does what he does. God bless him. But definitely our families and our small communities. I've said it in some of my posts online on our page. Blessed to be born and raised where I was, because a small community, when you need something and seeing the way people come together, it really is an awesome thing, That's awesome. I'm glad you guys did so well, and that we could get the credit where it belongs on this one. Keep in touch and let me know how things go as that track takes form. If you're going to do anything in the fall, or what you got planned for next spring.
We are pretty dead set on the one show a year. It'll be around the same time frame next year.
Sure.
We should have a date set in stone within the next month or month and a half.
Very good.
We'll have a date set in for next year.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm glad year one went so well, and that the fire department's bought in, and you guys are already looking towards year two. That's good to hear.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris. Appreciate you having us on.
For sure, Brett. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you later.
A little bit of delay.
I think so. I think there's a bit of a delay there. We went to the Science Center in Ithaca on Sunday.
That's awesome. We had a good time.
That's a wild place, and they've got these voice tubes that go all the way around the playground. It's like 450 feet, and if you say something in it, it takes about a half a second for it to go to the end of the tube and come back, so you can say something. And it was just like that. It was just like that telephone connection was.
It was funny. We were I was texting back and forth with Jeremy Gully before him and his daughter were going down there. Kylie wasn't going to run this summer. Then she decided she wanted to go down there and run. So her and Jeremy got a couple car pre-runs ready. I think they were both pre-runs. And, excited about running. And, they usually run a show or two together in the summer. So they go down there. And I thought it was an evening show like usual. And most shows are. And then I seen that they'd run. Jody put up, great run, Jeremy and Kylie. And so I text Jeremy. He's like, yep, we ran. He sends me pictures. And if I get this wrong, somebody can correct me. But I think on the track before the feature started, Kylie's car was like running wide open. So Jeremy got out and they switched cars. Jeremy ended up running Kylie's car and Kylie ran Jeremy's car, which Jeremy's used to running wide open. It's
Right,
it's just one less thing he's got to worry about. If it's stuck wide open, he can just concentrate on hitting things. He doesn't have to worry about running the throttle. So they ended up doing that. So he sends me a picture, and of course, and I said when he ran his car, I said something about the bumper touching the stack. And when he got done, the car he was driving, the bumper was almost touching the stack. But yeah, they said it was a good show, and they had fun, and get the like you said, get the credit to where the credit was due, and go from there. But it's always good when you hear good things coming out of a first time derby.
Absolutely. This is not a first-time derby. We're going to be back there again in November.
Do you know what year this is?
Huh?
Do you know what year this is for that?
Is this 10?
10.
I believe it is, yeah, 10. Year 10 for Blizzard Bash. Blizzard Bash 10 coming up in 2019, Kansas Expo Center, Topeka, Kansas. BlizzardBash.com has more details. The schedule, tentatively right now, November the 6th is the heat draw. Starts at 7 o'clock. That coincides with the pit party. November the 7th is national and qualifying teams first round. November the 8th is national and qualifying second round for those teams. November the 9th, the compact and limited weld teams get their opening draws, and then all the Team B features trucks and limited weld cars are going that night. On the 9th of November, Championship Sunday is November the 10th. All the Team A mains are on the card. BlizzardBash.com again for additional details on that. It's overseen by Smash It Demolition Derby. Before we get to Topeka, first we got to get through the 50, 70, 80, whatever it is, derbies that they've got. This is what the next couple days looks like for our friends over at Smash It. Tim and Russ are going to be busy. Additional details for them, smashitderby.com. July the 20th is Franklin County Fair in Hilliard, Ohio. 7 o'clock start time, 80s wire class. Mild welds, compact, street stocks, power wheels, and Smash It mowers. The same night is the Fayette County Fair in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. 7 o'clock start for the street stocks, compacts, and 80s pro stock. July the 21st, the very next night, they go to the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield, Ohio. 5 o'clock start time there. Smash It class, street stocks, 80s pro stocks, compacts, and the power wheels on the card there. And the same night is Union County Fair in Marysville, Ohio. This one, 2,000 win street stocks. If they get 40 or more, they're going to add another $2,000 to the purse. Turns out to be a pretty good payday. 80s Pro Stock Compact, Smash It Mowers, Power Wheels all on the card there at Union County Fair in Marysville. Not a bad payday by any stretch of the imagination.
I wonder if there is a state championship in Ohio.
I don't believe there is. I've never heard of one anyway. Real quick, got another photo to share with everybody. This is from Cora K-Wire. Tegan's mom.
Oh, cool.
And Tana drove in her first derby in Henning, Minnesota, I believe, over the weekend. You can see it's a trucks derby. So that was pretty exciting.
Very interesting.
Get in. Let me make sure I got that right. Yep, Tana. Tana drove in her first small truck derby. That truck looked awful big for a small truck, but all the same, it's Minnesota. Size doesn't matter.
Yes, it's just welded up and go. That's how they do it there. Minnesota style.
That was very cool. So, Ed, you excited about Seneca County?
Always happy to get up here, Chris. Yeah, definitely look forward to catching some of the Derby tomorrow. And I thought I might come up here and run myself, but of course I sold my stuff again. So get a new one here down the road, I reckon.
We're going to be talking with Jacob Pruismann here in a few minutes. Jacob just messaged me, 448 Designs roof sign. All the artwork on her car was from 448 Designs. That's Jacob's business. So it's Jacob Pruismann love all around tonight.
Cool. It's rough when guys show up with money. It's hard to say no.
Hey, the money talks, man.
It's hard to say no when guys show up with money. I bought the Cadillac that I bought this year, and we went up almost to Canada to get it. And I stood there talking to the guy afterwards when I bought it from him. He goes, because you're the first one that didn't try to beat me up over the price. I said, look, I know how hard stuff's getting to get, or is to get. I said, you know what you want, and there ain't no use. Man, I wish more guys were like you. If you want to play, you got to pay.
Yeah.
Is that Hanzuski's?
Yeah.
They're pretty good dudes.
Yeah, they're all cool.
So we got Tana. Did I mention Dunkirk? So you talk about that. Hanzuski's have run Dunkirk before. Dunkirk's first race tonight.
I see Hammer and Hank is running a wagon, and somebody is running Brett Relier's old 70-ish Imperial that he had painted up for when he was going to have the state championship show.
Really?
Somebody's running that with a stock 440 in it.
Cool.
So that thing's probably going to get junked.
Yeah.
They do that in Dunkirk.
They do. It's sort of a thing. That's exciting. On the topic of the Mopars and Dunkirk and stuff, Zach Anderson joining us on the phone. He drove a 66 six-window this weekend and had a pretty sweet tilt to it. The motor sounded awesome, man. How did it go?
I chose not to run it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it?
It needed a lot more plates cut off, and if I did that, I would have had to change the body spacing, because she's got quite the bit of tipping done to it. So
was that the issue? Was the issue the amount of pitch that was done to it?
No, it was just too long of plates, which I knew I'd have to cut some, but Mike Tix was his head tech. Jacob Pruismann's whole crew did good. I didn't expect Mike Tix there. He caught a little pre-plate that shouldn't have been on there because you were only allowed one, and he caught my other one. So it's one of them things. I went to play the odds and got caught.
That happens sometimes.
It's the car looks.
You don't
awesome.
expect a big Mopar guy like Mike Tix to be on the crew, but once I seen him pulling up, I was like, "Yep, we might have to stay on the trailer, boys."
But you took it well. I mean, you don't seem that upset by it. It's just part of the game.
No, I had talked to Jacob and I had exchanged pictures with him and stuff with the build, and it's more built to my hometown because that show is 4 hours from me, and it was just go out there and try to see if I run, because I was out there when they hadn't had this derby in 15 or 16 years, and it's where I met my wife in 2002, and so, or soon to be wife. Wasn't my wife then, but now is. So
Lane O'Connell won the mowers action. Chandler Robbins was second place. Trevor Robbins third. Compacts was Tej Reediness. And the compact side, Austin Silliman, the next guy in there, was second place. Marissa Atkins was third. And the modified world class, Denton Bishop came away with the win in that one over Brandon Pettit and Cody Gaines. And fourth place, Tyler Linkle-Twos and Cody Brandon was fifth. Mad Dog Denton Bishop the win, and the Mad Dog not too bad. Going back to the compacts, Lance Sedlicek from Rockwell City, Iowa, got the compact Mad Dog award there. And the limited world side, Tim Baker won over Cody Lockhart and Zane Klinger. Michael Flater and Dylan Barnes filling out the top five. Ori Reed took Mad Dog award in the limited world side of things, and Zach isn't joking. It's been almost 15 years since they had a derby there. So to get that back, and that's not the first derby that somehow Jacob's been able to work his magic and
cool.
and get back on its feet. I think it's outstanding.
Absolutely.
Tell me more about this build and spacing that firewall and doing it the way that you did. It seemed like it was a really good idea until the plates measured too long, and then we never got to find out if it was or if it wasn't.
Yeah, it's like any car build. Couldn't really tip the front or the spacing, I guess. Cold bending a Mopar is what I call it, but I had to wait till I had the rear end set in and set up before we knew exactly how it was going to look, and I had the haze tied down and everything, but it's tied down tight in the back mount, and then I have a 3 1/4 spacer at firewall, and it ended up being, I wanted it to be 6, but it ended up being, I don't know what the fenders or what, it came out to like 7.5 at the Radiator Sport. But
now, are you going to be able to run this car somewhere now? Are you going to be able to take it to your hometown, or?
It'll be ran somewhere. I haven't decided. I was going to work on it this week. There's a show coming up Saturday, but it looks like it's supposed to be like 112 heat index around here, so I'm not one of the fortunate ones to have AC in my shop, so that doesn't sound very exciting to me.
No.
So
that sounds like a good time to sit in the AC and watch TV.
Yeah, it's getting into our big-time fairs around here. Like, it's heated. We got 1 week coming up in 2 weeks where there's 5 shows in 3 days, so within 40 miles of me. So there's plenty of options. It's just going to, I don't know, needs a little bit more attention to change it to make sure that it doesn't go down on me.
I just want to see after pictures. I don't see how the nose holds up, because I'm sure talking about plates, I'm sure the front end's gonna be pretty stout. So
had the Y-framer plates. I was going to have to cut those because I have the factory plates all the way to the A on the top and then the sides. So they were going to have to be sliced because you only could have, I think, 14 inches. But that wasn't a big deal. I had an extra plate behind the A-frame on the inside, and oh well. It's how it is.
Is there down bars from the cage too, or no?
Yeah, I have those. You're supposed to go to the top side of the frame, but since you can't really do that on a Mopar, they're going down off my dash bar to, they're catching like a half inch of the top, and then they're welded on the side about 2 inches.
Yep.
I have them cut out really nice, so
nice.
It's tight in there. Then that whole floor is sheeted because it was a wreck. The car's actually originally from Iowa, so it's rusted. It's not like a Nebraska or South Dakota car I'm used to, but
it's always the best when you get those rusty cars and you can put entire new floor pans in them, especially on the Mopar.
It turned out really nice. So I mean, the whole ass end of the thing was totally gone too, and like the back, I think probably half a foot to 8 inches of the rear frame was completely gone. Like brackets weren't even still on it or nothing. So had to use my imagination there, and it's got Mopar shocks bolted through the frame, and then ran out to a bumper, but then the shocks are also bolted through the trunk floor to try to, and then welded to the side of the frame to try to help it from, just exploding.
Yep. That's now. What's your opinion on Mopars? Would you rather have them just roll into a ball in your back window? Or like a lot of times we've seen when we go out when they run a lot of the one and done classes in Topeka, they just build them low and guys get the 10 cleared off them and then the floor pan and the springs kind of take the abuse. What do you like to do on a Mopar?
I've actually ran that 2-man extreme down there twice with my then fiance, now wife, in 17 and 18 in Mopars. The Doba, we barely tucked. I ran a 65 Newport the second year and had it tucked. First tuck I've ever done on a Y-frame or a shocker. Absolutely hated it. I got hit wrong and it exploded. I didn't like it. For me, I mean, this is only my third Y-framer, so I'm used to shockers and pinch frame, but
yep.
I always drop them down to the ground and canoe them as far as they'll let me drop them, because I'd rather beat the body off than bend that frame where the leaf springs are. So
gotcha.
That's just my preference.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If somebody wants to try to run into that creased body line with their front end and risk their steering components, then go for it.
If I had enough ambition, I mean, I understand, I would definitely, but I just don't have that kind of ambition anymore.
That's pretty cool. I was very excited to see the pictures.
Yeah, that was neat. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm running the class that, I'm going to run at King's Old School. There's some things I'd like to do to my caddy, but I'm just, one, don't want to have to fix it, and two, don't want to have to answer all the questions afterwards. So, But I mean, and I'm not gonna lie. I was watching the Derby at Yates County. I'm like, man, I could buy a nice Grand Fury, build it, come over here and run. But I'm like, every time I think I can go somewhere and do that, things go bad. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Who'd have thought that we'd have a Midwest guy like Zach on here talking about Mopars, and you're the one talking about Cadillacs?
Well,
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, Zach's probably got an endless supply of them out there.
Until the last few years.
I got that first picture, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, hello, what do we got here? And the motor sounds so good.
Yeah. What do you run for motor?
This is just my baby. This is just a 440 with the size over RV cam, and has some good 5/16 heads at my drag race engine builder. They're ported, polished, and heavier springs and valves and everything in these, so it sounds all right, but once my big one gets here, I'll be happier. I got a mid plate and everything for it. So,
your big one, what's that going to be?
It's a 400 block stroker.
Aha.
Yeah.
Did you say it was? It was 596.
No, he wouldn't even give me what it was.
He just told me when it's done, we'll put it on the dyno.
That's
cool.
Yeah, stroking's a pretty neat. You can do a lot of cool things when you stroke a motor. So usually you stroke 360s to like a 403. Mm-hmm. So if you start with a 400, that's a big stroke. That's yeah.
458, 462, something like that, or you could go all the way up to like a 512.
Yeah,
just depends.
Yeah, that's gonna be nasty. What do you run? Do you run race fuel, obviously, or?
Partial. This guy actually, my builder, it's 2 gallons to 8 gallons of just straight unleaded.
Really?
After that, he says that you're defeating the cooling purpose because of, well, especially in this motor, I guess. For my motor, that big one, we don't know yet. He just told me in this one, the way it's set up, you're defeating the cooling purpose, and if I run over 2 gallons per 8, so.
Oh, that's interesting.
I do what he says because I'm more of a welder builder than engines. I've tried them. Not my thing.
Absolutely. Engines get expensive. You start messing around with them, so you find somebody that knows a lot and you listen to what they say. I know just what you're saying.
Here's my bucket of parts.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially, my uncle, he's where we build. He's a huge Mopar guy, an old Ford guy, but it just gets to the point where trying to build 4 cars out of a 2-car shop, and it's all right. Well, I'm subbing my motor work out.
Yeah, no doubt.
You build at your uncle's house, and I know you don't build alone. Is there anybody that you want to make mention of in terms of helping get this car put together?
Yeah, first my uncle, it's his shop, Keith. My BCM crew, which is Tech, Hoppy, Aiden, my oldest son, Jacob, Adam Har, and then my wife that we're now expecting at the end of the year, so derby plans might get thrown back for a while.
Right.
And then to Jacob Pruismann and his crew for a hell of a job. We stayed there, watched the show, had a good time, and it was just good to see that derby back there at Adel, Iowa, and hopefully my son, that'll be 14 here in a couple months, him and I will both be going out there with Mopars next year. Not pushing the limits as much.
Well, keep me posted for sure on where you end up running that thing. I'm anxious to see the after pictures and find out how it held up.
Yes, I will do so.
Right,
Thank you guys, and keep up what you guys do.
Thanks a lot, Zach.
Man.
We appreciate it.
All right, later.
See ya. Thoughts from Zach Anderson. I wanted to see that car run so bad.
Yeah. Kind of like the big block Mopars.
Yep. We got almost through it and almost right on time. I don't know how we managed that today.
Sure, Chris Marquardt. No one else is.
Yes. Some people say that's a good thing.
So are you expecting 100, 200 cars for your Derby Thursday night?
I know we lost a chunk with Dunkirk this week. Usually Dunkirk's the week after. So, I don't know. We'll probably have the same as what we did last year. It'll be fine. We're going to pick up 2 from last year because if I put the cars together for the kids. I don't even know what those cars need. Hey, it's Chris. Can I put you in? I don't even know what they need. I know the one of them constantly loses steering and the other one might not even move anymore. So if we have to flip a coin to decide who runs, or maybe one goes to the outlaw class, one goes to the stock class, we charge batteries. I don't know. It's a lot of figuring to do still, because I wasn't planning on having them with cars there, you know.
Welcome to Demolition Derby.
I guess, yeah. I've done this before on my cars and it never works out.
Welcome to Demolition Derby.
Yep. In any case, so Jacob Pruismann, and we got to have a candid talk about honesty, Jacob, because when I talked to you, you said no, and now all the derby plans are on the back burner, and you're bringing derbies back from the dead all over the place. What's going on with that?
Well, I've had a few more phone calls since now and then.
I think that's awesome, man. I'm so happy to hear that the derby came back there, and when we talked in December, we were talking about that. So just to have derbies coming back from the dead is outstanding, and I mean, you got to be elated.
Yeah, it's been going great. I just hope we can keep it up. I'm not trying to step on anybody else's toes. I mean, we had 2-3 other shows in Iowa the same day. I think everybody had a good car count, so they're spread out enough. We can get a good car count every show.
That's very good. And so what's going to happen now? The plan was to be able to derby and promote a little bit, and now you're going to be lucky if you can derby a little bit because you're promoting. Are we done with the car at this point, or are we still going to be able to get into it?
I've got a bone stock to get ready for in a couple weeks. It's actually a show I'm putting on. I'm not going to be running in my own shows, but this one I'm going to. It's 50th anniversary at our hometown show, so
sure.
We got bone stock ready for that, and then I've still got Spring X car sitting at home. It's got one heat on it, so I'm hoping I can head north to Minnesota in August and run that a few times, and then it's time to start on the Blizzard Bash car for this year.
That is a busy summer.
Yeah, that doesn't. Not going to be bored this summer.
How do you?
No, I got that and a full-time job, and then I decided to buy a vinyl printer, and I don't have time for anything at this point.
The vinyl printer is almost a necessary evil because now you can print all of your own winter decals.
Yeah, I trying to do enough stuff for myself to where it doesn't cost a whole lot. I did all the Mad Dog trophies for Adel, and been doing all the team stuff for all the shows I run, and had a lot of people get a hold of me on roof signs and stuff. Right now, I'm about 3 weeks out. I think I'm going to quit taking orders for Blizzard Bash probably middle of August, just so I can get the car done.
Right. Jeez. That's a horrible problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to pick time between working at the computer and printing vinyl and welding on the car that needs vinyl. That sucks.
Great.
Yeah, if they were the same location, it'd be a little easier. I could come down here and press print and go weld, but it's not that easy.
No.
Why would it be? It's Demolition Derby. If anything involved with Demolition Derby is not easy. If it is, it's wrong, and you're going to have to do it over. So you don't want it easy.
Yep, for sure.
How Dallas County now? Look at just at Dallas County. We ran through the winners earlier. How does this show come back? The one that we talked about in December had only been gone for a short period, if I remember right. But this one had been gone for quite some time. How does all that happen and come about?
Well, I had a lot of guys down around the Adel area that were interested in bringing it back, and the Fair Board contacted me, and we had a lot of locals that wanted to do it again. I don't think the urge for it ever really left. It was just I don't know the circumstances of why it went away, but you bring that town name up, it's got a lot of history with Demolition Derby, so just the fact of the town name, that interested enough people to come do it. And we had some old locals that used to run that came back and ran, and then some younger guys that are just getting into it, so we had a good mix of that going on.
And it sounds like tech inspection went flawlessly, especially with Tixie showing up as a surprise for all the folks coming through inspection line.
Yeah, everybody was pleasant to work with. We had, a lot of cars that were built for other type builds. We wanted everybody on an equal playing field, and everybody did that. Zach had some stuff he didn't want to cut. We talked about that before. He built it for more of a local show, but he was going to be out there anyway. So he chose to load his up, which I don't blame him. We had one other car, had some issues getting the thing running after they showed up, but other than that, every other car hit the track.
I mean,
very cool.
You guys are onto something. Something's working very well out there between your familiarity with building cars, with the tech crew that you've got, the conversations that they're having with the builders, the conversations that you're having with the promoters, and making sure that the drivers are getting what they want and what they need. You're growing, I would guess, faster than you expected.
Yeah, I didn't expect to have more than one show this year. We got 4, so now we're trying to grow off of that, do a little points deal, get the following to follow as well. I've actually teamed up with another promoter to the north of me and adapted the same rules, so we've got between the two of us about 10 shows guys can build a car for and not have to worry about wrecking it in one show. They got all season to wreck it.
Your last show is going to be is it this year? It's in September?
What's that? Sorry.
Have you got one more show coming up in September? You've got Boonville coming up too, right? Boone
is this Saturday the 20th. We're doing that. We're doing a base payout there, and then every entry on top of that is another $50 into the purse. So we're doing kind of a progressive payout.
Right.
Then we have Webster City next Sunday the 28th. That's the 50th anniversary. So we're doing 3 classes there, plus a past champions class, doing a little ceremony to honor all the past winners.
That's so cool.
And then we have about 6 weeks off. I'm going to try to run in Minnesota a few times, and then we come back and go to Fonda, Iowa on September 1st for the points finale and kind of a cleanup show.
Sure. That's I always like those year-end shows, those cleanups, because you never know what you're going to get. You get to see some really, really trick stuff. some exotic stuff,
Yep.
and then you also get to see some stuff that gets absolutely turned inside out.
Yeah, that's last year was the first year I went and watched San Filippo. Was the end of the year show, and that was definitely off the chain. So I can imagine it's, most end of the year shows are crazy like that. So they're always.
It's a good show. Little tiny town that's been going on forever. I ran my first 2 shows there. Little tiny bull ring we run inside of. It's got dirt barriers all the way around. They close the bucket. You're in until you're done.
Wow.
I like that past champion show. I think that would
Right?
be cool.
we kind of hedged on that at Seneca County a little bit, and with the pros versus Joes. But man, to have a past winners and get some of the old guys to come back out, that's cool.
That would be a blast.
I was hoping we get more past winners, but a lot of the guys, I did it as a stock build to where somebody that won 20 years ago could find a metric car that runs and do it. But I think total out of the 50 years, I think there's 46 past winners, and I think we've got between 8 and 10 going to do it. So it'll be at least a little, decent show.
Our hometown fair does not have that luxury.
No.
50 years and 46 different winners.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, we have multiple classes starting in 2003. There's a few guys. The biggest winner there would be Troy Drager. He won it 7 times. There's a couple guys won 5 times, 4 times, 3 times. But been a lot of winners there over the years. So each of those guys get the free pass in that night and hopefully put on a good show for them.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't it?
Imagine the iron. Oh man.
I can imagine the drivers. I don't know if a past winners derby would draw quality iron. I think it'd be better served as an 80s and newer stock build or something like that.
It depends what kind of money you put up.
Yeah. Doesn't money drive at all?
Usually. But yeah, I'd run an 80s and newer car if I could change motor, tranny, or rear end.
There's no way you're doing all that work.
There's
no way you're doing that. No way.
Absolutely. I'd find something. I'd take it out there and wreck it. That'd be a good time.
Maybe.
That'd be fun. That's something Chris Marquardt ought to work on for next year.
I'll get started on that. I got some free time between 2 and 4 a.m.
You've been sleeping lately, though. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been just slowed down a little bit. Just took some time.
Have you been eating too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's rare.
You look like you feel okay.
I haven't had any issues with anything for a while, and it's been nice. I don't want to go backwards with it.
You're due to not sleep and not eat and.
Well, that's coming. We're getting close to that time of year. It's catching up. I'm going to be in Oswego Saturday and Utica Sunday, and then we got motorsports in school on Monday, podcast Tuesday, and leading up to that, we'll have the Derby Wednesday, the RC Derby Thursday, and soccer's taking up a lot of time. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it does.
We're going to go sit in the rain tomorrow. We got to go play Mid Lakes.
Hopefully it doesn't thunder and lightning.
Well, if it thunders and lightning, we'll have to sit in the car and wait for the rain. But otherwise, we're just going to sit in the rain.
It's funny you brought that up about knowing that it's the week of Waterloo because it always rains. That's the thing I remember the most about being a kid, like kid, single digits to early, is it seemed like it never rained until the week of Waterloo, and then it rained every single day that whole week. Then it wouldn't rain again the rest of the summer. But the week of Waterloo, man, it would rain every day.
I hate when Waterloo Fair comes around because that means I got to mow the lawn.
You know what else it means? You know what else it means when Waterloo comes around? Summer's over.
What do you mean?
It's over. Summer, the Waterloo Fair happens, and then boom, it's time for kids to go back to school. It happens quick.
What's wrong with you? Why are you the way you are?
That's just the truth, man.
Ruining things.
It's always seemed like that.
Try and talk to a guest, and you turn around and start bringing up back to school and everything.
That's how it happens. Now we have derbies up until year round, so it's
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it never really calendar never really stops.
But it used to be, it went from the best time of the year, derby season, to boom, school, and then it was waiting on the next summer for the next derbies. But
I do remember that. Now you don't have to wait nearly as long either.
No, just drive the next state over.
We're going to see Jacob here in just a couple months. We're all out there for Blizzard Bash. Looking forward to that. When it gets around here, it always rains, so the weather never gets really out of control for the week of our fair. But on the south side of that, usually Dunkirk is the week after, and the weather is just oppressive. And they still get 100 cars on qualifying nights, and they get a packed grandstand. Out there in Iowa, how's the weather affect things? I mean, in terms of where you're allowed to even cut on the cars in the pits because things get too dry. How does weather affect things? When it gets to 112, do people stay home?
Well, I think it was 95 Sunday. I didn't realize it because I was too busy teching cars, but everybody else realized it. It caught up to me by the end of the day, but we're talking like mid-90s again this weekend. So I guess as long as I stay preoccupied, I'm good. But fat guys like to sweat.
Truth.
That's a valid point. Well, I'm hoping everybody continues to turn out. The fact you're bringing these derbies back is awesome. It's exciting to hear because, and I know we've said it ad nauseum. We've said it so many times that 10 years ago they were writing off demolition derby as a dying sport and it was going away, and now we've got a number of derbies just under your direction that have come back and returned to prowess, and it's not just a one-off novelty. There's a future to it. There's driver support to it. They want to be a part of it, and it sounds like everything that you're working on is pulling in the right direction. Be it vinyl, building cars, teching cars, putting on derbies. It's really good to hear.
Yep, yeah, it's been good. I mean, as long as there's something to smash, somebody's going to be there to smash it. So as long as we got Crown Vics, they're going to run out before we know it. But as long as they're here, we'll have demo derby.
I don't think we're going to run out of Crown Vics anytime soon. I think we'll be okay with Crown Vics.
They'll rot out before we run out around here.
Yeah. Well, you just have to go to Mexico for those two. New Mexico. I should clarify that.
Yeah.
New Mexico. Arizona. The desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas.
They've got them there too.
I believe so.
Well, man, good luck this weekend. Hopefully everything goes smooth for you there as well. And then we'll check in again before we get to September 1st for your year end. Now, there is points this year or no?
What'd you say, points?
There is points this year or that's next year?
Yep, we're doing a small point series this year. I got the third and fourth show kind of late, so I didn't have anything as far as a prize purse. So we're doing a $50 entry. 100% of that goes back to the drivers for the top three, and then I've reached out to a bunch of derby vendors. A lot of great vendors have donated product. We're going to throw them all in the trailer. First place is going to pick what he wants, then second, then third, until we're all done.
Awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and again, keep in touch. Let us know how things go when we get down to the end of the point series.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you guys do.
You bet, man. We'll see you in November.
Yep, bye.
Jacob Pruismann. That's so cool that the derbies are coming back.
Yes.
We've got tons of new ones that are cropping up, and it's a bold thing to put a new one on in the middle of derby season, the way that they did in Downsville, and it worked.
Yeah, that's pretty gutsy. I mean, usually we've talked about a lot of times how drivers will go watch a show and see how it runs and see how inspection is and all that stuff, but. It's good that they went down and supported those guys. That's a cool thing to do.
Spinning wheel season is going to amp up here this week. July the 20th is the Lewis County Fair. They get about a 10-day reprieve before they go into full bonkers mode with spinning wheels. SpinningWheelsProductions.com. Otsego County Fair on the 1st. Wayne County Fair is the 2nd, and that's in Pennsylvania. The Otsego County Fair again with the program on the 4th of August. Back at Wayne County again on the 10th of August, and then Seneca County Fair is the 11th of August, and then San Filippo 4 is going to be the 5th of October. So they're winding up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their shows. 6 of their 8 are a span of about 15 days.
Yeah, they're traveling. I'm sure you'll be surprised again. Rob Hoyer picked up another win. Teddy Papadopoulos picked up a win. And there's one Rob won. I think Trey was second, and Teddy was third. Hard to believe those guys, are out there still winning every week, but they are doing a great job. Congratulations to those guys.
Keep doing it.
Just keep doing it. That's that's a funny thing. That's one of the names I remember from We Crash was Rob Hoyer.
Yeah.
And it just always seemed like he was winning. And he still is always winning.
Yeah. Something never changes, I suppose.
Yeah. But
so next week will be the official homecoming week. We'll have a recap for everybody from Seneca County Fair and all the actions going on.
Who's going to win it all?
We'll have who's going to win.
Waterloo.
I assume you're asking about the full-size trucks, right?
No. Cars. Full-size.
Full-size cars.
Stock class. I don't know if they're having a...
That's the thing. I have a name in mind, but I do not want to say it on the air because if somehow that gives that person bad luck, I'll never live it down. so I don't want to jinx Ian and mess it up for him. So
Nice.
So we'll just leave it at that.
I gotcha. There's a picture on Facebook. Donnie and I think his son built a homemade trophy for the wire class for Waterloo this year.
Right.
Looked pretty cool.
Yep.
So
we gotta get. I lost track of that. We're gonna have a carousel of people next week. Hopefully people want to come and be part of it. Everybody's local, which is always a nice thing. So it's easy enough for them to get here.
Well, it depends who's fighting with who after the Derby too. We got to see who likes each other and who doesn't like each other before we send out invites. It is the hometown fair. After all.
We've been there. We've been there. We've been in the inadvertent middle of that because of the people that did and didn't get brought into the show and did and didn't show up. But it wouldn't be.
I blame that on you because you schedule guests.
I know. It wouldn't be your hometown fair without it, though.
That's true.
Well, that's going to do it for us. We covered a ton of information tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We appreciate all the folks that tune in week and week out. We'll be back again next week for the annual homecoming show, Seneca County Fair results. Recap will be on there, and maybe we'll even have a couple twisted up RC cars to put on the desks around here.
There you go.
At risk of being sued by WWE. We'll see everybody again next time. The kids love WWE, so we got some decals and stuff and put it on the car. It looks cool. Red and black, WWE logo, superstars, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman. Thankfully, everybody's still relevant.
At least for a little while longer.
For a little bit, yep. Wow, that'll do it for us, I guess. We've hit our max, and it is becoming a sauna in here. So we're going to wrap it up. Call it good tonight. 282 in the books. We'll see everybody again next week on a Tuesday. We'll see you then.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.